Oh, thank you, DBL moms. Thank you so much. All right. We are live. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Let's see here. Let's make sure that everything's all set and copacetic. Let's see. Are we live on the YouTubes? All right. Yes, we are. We are live on the YouTubes. Audio works. Perfect. All right. Are we live on the X? Are we live on the X? All right. We are live on the X. Audio works there. Are we live on the Twitch? We are live on the Twitch. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, let's see here. Let's see here. All right. Let's get ourselves set. Boom, right here. Boom, right here. Boom, right there. Right there. Right there. And right there. Okay, we're getting ourselves all set. Getting everything all ready to go. Boom, right here. Bop, right there. All right. All right, there we go. Just getting all the announcements out, ladies and gentlemen. All the announcements are getting out. Boom, right there. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Let's see here. All right. All right, let's get this over here. The announcements. There we go. Get ourselves all set there. All right. Got that set up here. All right, get that over here. Everything's all set up. Everything's all copacetic. Here we go. All right. Let's make sure everything's all good and ready to go. Let's see here. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. There we go. Night Road, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, brother. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are well. Good morning. Good morning, brother. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. All right. I think we got everything all set up and ready to go. What's up, guys? It's Double Nicks, and welcome to another episode of Microcap Mornings. I'm your host with the most. They call me DBL Nicks in the house, a.k.a. the Rainmaker. And I am here with the lovely Serengeti specialist herself. She likes to hang around the tall weeds, the high trees, the low seas, hitting them high knees. Sometimes she likes 2 cups of coffee. Other times she likes to jet ski. Marty Arties, good morning. And to top it off, she likes to steal my low mean. And of course, she likes to go to places like Arby's or Wendy's, and she likes to watch videos of puppies and kitties. Other times, she likes to go jet skiing. Other times, she likes to go into the stock market and find them ABCDs. Other times, she'll call some stonks like AEHL, EKSO, and FLYE. We call her DBM Moms! All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, Before we begin, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing is caring. And of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. You guessed it right there. Gets the cash. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we called quite a few stonks today. We called FLYE, which ran up a nice 75%. Called that early in the morning for the private Discord. Boom, right there. We called AEHL, which ran up a nice 65% right there. All right. And then, of course, we called EKSO, which ran up a nice 55%. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. So let's get started right here with AEHL. AEHL, as of now, AEHL went up over here, went back down below the VWAP, then kind of consolidated below the VWAP over here, and then kind of climbed up and peaked its head above it a little bit before forming a teeny tiny resistance line right over here at the 174 mark. Went back down and then tried to curl its way back up above the VWAP right now. Needs some volume to really stay above that VWAP, ladies and gentlemen. Was a bit overbought on the RSI. Has some H1 earnings that are unconfirmed, due in 14 days on January 13th, just before the market opens. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. So let me make this over here. Bot right there. Currently peaking its way above the VWAP. AEHL peaking its way above the VWAP. Needs to break that pennant for it to really be so much maxi to me. You know what I mean? Yes, sir. All right. So AEHL needs to break that VWAP and hold. Actually, no. Needs to break that pennant and hold above the VWAP. Pennant and hold above the VWAP. There we go. That's what we got going on right there. Yes, sir. And let's get a share party going. Let's get the first 100, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the 100. Let's get the CETX currently on a bit of an uptrend right now. Moving above the VWAP right now. The 9 EMA is currently converged with it. It's moving its way on up right now. Nice clean convergence moving up. Has some unconfirmed Q4 earnings due in 14 days on January 13th after the market closes. So we got that going on as well for the stonk. CETX up 44% and climbing, ladies and gentlemen. Has a bit of a top tail. We don't like the top tails. We like the bottom tails, ladies and gentlemen. So let's check that out over here. So CETX currently moving up, right? And CETX has a float of 7 million, volume of 7 million, so it needs to just bring that volume up a little bit more to break past the float. But other than that, it's looking schmexy so far. Currently moving up. $46. Climb, baby, climb. Yes, sir. I like that one. I like it right now. Okay. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. Let's take a look at ONTF. Not a lot of volume in the beginning. Right over here, ONTF has a 26 million float, which is a bit heavy. Volume of 369,000. So we got that going on. Moving up on some low volume, though, because it shot up here and then kind of started to consolidate a little bit over here. Bop, right there. All right, so ONTF needs to curl. ONTF price spike on low volume. That's what we got going on right there. Low volume. ONTF has that price spike on that low volume right there. Yes, sir. All right, let me get a drink, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get a drink real quick. Let me get some water in my system. Yes, sir. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, by the way, I don't know if I said this. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday, isn't it? You know what I mean? Yes, sir. All right. So, got that going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. Let's take a look at FLYE. FLYE. Let's see how FLYE is holding up. FLYE currently below the VWAP, currently below the VWAP, needs to break the downtrend, needs to break this downtrend right here, and needs to break the VWAP for it to be so much Mexi to Mya, up 75%, up 75%. However, you know how it is, ladies and gentlemen, you know how it is. Needs to break above that VWAP and needs to break that downtrend. FLYE needs to break the downtrend and the VWAP for it to be so much Maxi Tumya. Boom. There we go. Right there. All right. Let's take a look at GRI. GRI, let's see how that's doing. Has a 28 million volume, 6 million float. So the volume is above the float. All right. And it is a close to 5 times more than the volume. Close to 5 times more than the volume. But we got that going on right there. Had a little bit of a cup and handle, but it looks like the cup and handle kind of sort of failed a little bit here. So we got bop, bop, bop right here. All right. All right. Had a little bit of a cup and handle, but then kind of failed the cup and handle right there and went down over here. So really, not looking too schmexy with this one right here. Not looking too schmexy with this one. All right. Needs to break the little downtrend and needs to break above this VWAP over here for it to be so much schmexy to me. GRI has the volume for it. It does have the volume, but it just needs to break that descending wedge right there. Needs to break the downtrend and the VWAP. Boom, right there. GRI needs to do that. AEHL, let's go back to AEHL, see how AEHL is holding up. AEHL is currently still within that pennant, falling below the VWAP. Needs to once again break the VWAP for it to be so much Mexi Tumya. AEHL needs to break the VWAP and the pennant for it to be so much Mexi to me. Boom, right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, all right, all right. All right, let's take a look at AMIX. AMIX. All right, there we go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, AMIX has 7 million float. Volume is 846,000. Moving up on low volume. AMIX. AMIX price spike on low volume. Have that going on right there. That is what we got going on right there, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get a share party going. Let's get to 200. 200, ladies and gentlemen. 200, 200, 200. All right. All right, all right, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, AMIX. Not looking schmexy. Let's take a look at CETX. Let's keep an eye on CETX. That seems to be the schmexiest out of all of them so far, but it looks like it is moving down a little bit. Looks like it is moving down a little bit. It looks like it needs to try to remain friends with the trend. Otherwise, it's going to be We got that going on right there. CETX needs to remain friends with the trend for it to be so much Mexi Tumya. Boom. Erkan Yamans asks for PCLA. PCLA, bet. All right, let's take a look at PCLA. PCLA, boom, right there. That's what we got going on. Let's take a look. All right, PCLA had a bit of a resistance line over here at 42 cents. Also has a bit of resistance over here at the 41-cent line as well. Has basically went up a little bit, shot up nicely over here, went back down below the VWAP, and then kind of just started really consolidating there. So, as of now, PCLA needs to break the... Oh my, AMIX moving! All right. So, all I'm going to say with PCLA is it needs to break this pennant, needs to break the VWAP right there. That's what we need to do right there. PCLA needs to break the VWAP and the pennant for it to be so much Mexi Tumya. What was it again? AEHL? AMIX. AMIX moving. All right. Moving. All right. AMIX shooting up there a little bit. Has a 7 million float. Yes, sir. 7 million float, 2 million volume. So the volume is a little bit low on it, but it is up 28%. It does have news that Autonomics medical shares are trading higher after the European Patent Office granted the company a patent number, the 133 patent, titled Control and Precise Treatment of Cardiac Tissues. So they got that going on, and it's shooting up right now. Shot up to 33%. Moving its way on up. It's moving and grooving. Oh, yes, sir. And it is moving right now. It is moving up. AMIX moving and grooving right now. Yes, sir. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of parabolic. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of money. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of parabolic. Yes, sir. It's climbing its way on up right now. Up 39% and climbing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. It's moving its way on up. Moving its way on up a little bit. Come on now. It's still moving. Yes, sir. All right. Still climbing its way on up. 44% now. Climbing its way on up. Climbing its way on up. It is still kind of fighting its way on up there right now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can it keep going? Can it keep going?
Oh, my.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
Oh, migration.
Ooh. Ooh. All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Schmexy. Schmexiness right here.
Schmexy thing, you.
Yes, sir. All right. It's still moving. It is still moving right now. It's moving on some news. It's moving on news. It's moving on timing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's the volume. The volume is starting to creep up to the float right now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. AMIX volume creeping up to the float. And climbing. Yes, sir. All right. Up 51% right now. Climbing its way on up slowly but surely. Up 53%. 53. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As the volume keeps climbing up to that float right now. The volume is climbing up to that float. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. Woo!
Oh, my gracious.
Oh, migration. Ay-ya. Oh, my.
Oh, my.
Oh, my.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeesh. Let's get a share party going. Let's get the 300. 300, 300, 300. All right. So AMIX is gonna keep doing this thing. Let's keep an eye on that stock right there. We're also gonna take a look at AEHL again, see how AEHL is holding up. AEHL trying to curl its way back up just a little bit, performing a bit of a top tail. We don't like the top tails, we like the bottom tails. AEHL needs volume to break that VWAP. Boom, right there. Yes, sir. All right. CETX. All right. Now, CETX could be doing one of the two things. All right. It could be either doing a descending wedge right here, which is the best case scenario, or it could be the start of a potential head and shoulders, ladies and gentlemen. So you got the shoulder over here, you got the head over here. All right. Hopefully it doesn't form another shoulder. That would suck. But as of now, it looks like it could potentially either be the beginning of a head and shoulders, or it could potentially be a descending wedge. One of the two. We'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see what happens. Has some unconfirmed Q4 earnings due in 14 days on Tuesday, January 13th, after the market closes. So we got that going on right there. It looks like it is slowly starting to climb, though. It is slowly starting to climb. Climb, baby, climb. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so we got that going on right there. It looks like it's trying to curl its way on up off the VWAP right now. CETX trying to curl its way off the VWAP. Let's see. Let's see what happens. CETX trying to bounce off the VWAPA. So we'll see what happens there. CETX got that going on. How's AMIX doing? AMIX, let's see how AMIX is doing. AMIX is currently still up right now, but has a bit of resistance right here at the 80-cent mark, right here. So we got that going on right there. AMIX is currently 9 million volume, 7 million float. So it's currently doing its thing right now. Currently doing its thing. Has a bit of resistance here at the 80-cent mark. So we got that going on. That is what we got going on. But it is climbing slowly but surely. It is climbing its way on up. All right. All right. So as of now, AMIX currently climbing. Currently doing this thing right now. Currently on the uptrend, ladies and gentlemen. Currently on the uptrend. Yes, sir. All right. So AMIX still on the uptrend, still climbing, trying to break that resistance right there. So you got that going on right there. AMIX fighting to break resistance right there. Boom. Right there. There we go. There we go. All right. EKSO. EKSO. Let's see. EKSO trying to peek its way above the VWAP right now. Trying to peek its way above the VWAP. EKSO. Trying to peek above the VWAPA. Above the VWAPA. So we got that going on right there. It is currently peeking its way above it. It's currently peeking its way above it. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. All right. CETX, CETX. All right. Currently bouncing off that VWAP just a little bit. Currently bouncing off that VWAP right now. CETX needs to break the descending wedge. CETX bouncing off the VWAPA needs to break the descending wedge right there for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. FLYE, FLYE. Let's see how FLYE is doing. Still needs to break that downtrend there, ladies and gentlemen. FLYE still needs to break that downtrend and the VWAPA. Boom. All right. DRMA, DRMA. All right. Now, DRMA actually has some news right here. All right. Fell below the VWAP. Needs to break that VWAP. Needs to break the pennant. Dermata Therapeutics are trading higher after Chairman Gerald Prohl reportedly purchased 612,745 shares at an average price of $2.04 per share. So, as of now, DRMA needs to break this pennant and also needs to break the VWAP for it to be so much maxi to mya. DRMA needs to break the VWAPA and the pennant for it to be so much maxi to mya. Boom, right there. All right. So that's what we got going on right there. Let's take a look at EKSO. EKSO. All right. Let's see here. Let's get this refreshed. Yes, sir. All right. EKSO currently curling above the VWAP right now. EKSO curling above that VWAP. It's got that going on right there. It kind of is breaking through this little bit of a pennant right here. It is breaking above that pennant, and it is currently breaking above the VWAPA right now, peeking its head above that VWAP, so we have to see what happens. EKSO needs to break, broke the VWAPA and is curling above the pennant. There we go. All right. So we got that going on right there. Boom, right there. There we go. Needs to break that double top. A little bit of resistance right over there at $8.10. Has a bit of resistance at $8.10. Has to break through that for it to be so much maxi to meow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Let's see what else we got. AEHL as of now still trying to peak above that pennant. AEHL peaking above the pennant right now. Peaking above the pennant. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Let's see here. CETX. Let's take a look at CETX. How's CETX doing? CETX curling off the descending wedge right now. Curling off that descending wedge. Looking good right there. There we go. There we go. CETX curling off that descending wedge. CETX curling off the descending wedge and climbing. There we go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Let's see what else we got here. FLYE. FLYE. All right. FLYE still needs to break that VWAP. Still needs to break that pennant. Still needs to do both of those things for it to really remain somewhat schmexy to me. So FLYE needs to break above the VWAPA for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Yeah. All right. So we got that going on right there. How's EKSO? EKSO. All right. EKSO still climbing, still trying to fight that resistance point at $8.10. Still trying to fight that resistance point right there. EKSO pushing against resistance right there. All right, boom. There we go. CETX, CETX. There we go. Curling up off the descending wedge. Still curling its way on up a little bit. CETX still fighting its way above the descending wedge. All right, that's what we got going on with CETX. All right, SCWO, what's going on with that one right there? Let's take a look. SCWO moving up on some low volume right there. Has some news. The 374 water shares are trading higher after the company announced that it had been awarded a waste destruction services project to eliminate per and polyfluoroalkyl, I don't know what that means, substances in biosolids and water treatment residuals for the city of St. Cloud. So we got that going on. SCWO moving up on low volume and news. So we got that. All right. SCWO moving up on low volume and news. Very choppy, because it does have a bit of a lot of indecisive wicks, a lot of just barcoding over here. So, and not my thing, but it is moving up off of that news. So it's got that going on right there, up 16% right there, 16%. All right, let's take a look at EKSO again. Actually, no, AMIX. AMIX, how's AMIX doing? AMIX is forming a bit of a descending wedge right here. AMIX needs to break above that descending wedge and resistance for it to be so much mexy to me. AMIX needs to break above the descending wedge and resistance for it to be so much mexy to me. Boom, right there. That's what we got going on right there. That's what we got going on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Let's see here. All right. There we go. Oh, we got some requests here. Hold on. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Someone requested PALI. PALI. All right, let's take a look at Pally. PALI. PALI. All right, PALI. Moved up on some low volume. Had a lot of very choppy behavior going on there. Oh, excuse me. That's my watch. Boop, right there. All right, PALI moved up on some low volume and then just dropped its way back down. Not looking too schmexy as of now. Needs to really break this pennant right here. PALI needs to break this pennant. Very, very choppy. PALI, choppy. Needs to break the pennant for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. That's what we got going on with PALI. Let's see about EKSO. EKSO, how's EKSO doing? EKSO consolidated along the VWAP a little bit. EKSO needs to break the consolidation along the VWAPA. That's what they got going on. Let's take a look at that. AMIX, AMIX. Let's see how it's doing. AMIX curling above the descending wedge. AMIX curling above the descending wedge right there. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get a share party going. Let's get to 900. And be sure to check out our 4-day trial for the real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. The moolah, the loots, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. All right, let's see here. Let's see here, ladies and gentlemen. EKSO called this one on our Discord before anybody else. Let's take a look at EKSO. EKSO called this on our Discord earlier than anybody else probably ever did. So we called this stonk wonderfully. Let's take a look over here. All right, let's see about over. Yeah, boom, right there. On, boom. Oh my, yes. So we called EKSO yesterday at 3:47 p.m. Then called it this morning at a nice 30%, and it is currently climbing its way on up and currently doing its thing right now. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. EKSO had a nice high of 70. Excuse me. It had a nice high of 55% right there. 55% right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. AMIX. AMIX. Let's take a look over here. AMIX. All right. Formed a descending wedge over here. Again, Autonomics medical shares are trading higher after the European Patent Office granted the company a patent number and called the 133 patent, titled Controlled and Precise Treatment of Cardiac Tissue. So they got that going on right there. It is trying to peak its way above the descending wedge once again. So we'll see what happens there. AMIX, AMIX, trying to peak above the descending wedge. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. FLYE. FLYE. FLYE up 30%, but still needs to break that downtrend. FLYE still needs to break that downtrend right there for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. FLYE still needs to break the downtrend right there. All right, and ladies and gentlemen, let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1,000, 1,000, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, by the way, if you get access to the 4-day trial, if you decide to get access to that 4-day trial, ladies and gentlemen, you gain access to these wonderful scanners right over here, with all sorts of things. You get the change in percentage, the time in which the scan was made, whether the stocks are moving up and down, the ticker, the price, the volume, the float, etc. Hyperlinks to all this information, plus the chart intel, and of course the news for the stonk. That's what you also get right there. And to top it off, you get access to the newsroom, which has hyperlinks as well as synopsises of what's going on in the articles within those hyperlinks. You click the hyperlinks, get the full article as well. And to top it off, you get hyperlinks to the stock affiliated with the article that is affected by the article and the news within the article. So you got that going on right there. And you could get, once you click that little link, you gain access to the chart information, all the information pertaining to the stock price, volume, float, whether it's moving up, down, the change in price, as well as the change in percentage. And to top that off, you get access to the time in which it was scanned as well. So you got that going on as well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, yeah, that's what we got going on. All right. So let's take a look at AMIX once again. AMIX. All right. AMIX. AMIX curling off the little descending wedge right there. Needs to remain friends with the trend right there. AMIX needs to remain friends with the trend. AMIX. Oh, hold on. AMIX needs to remain friends with the trend. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, sir, yes, sir. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. EKSO, EKSO. All right. Little bit of a shot upward over here. All right. And then kind of sort of ended up going from here into this pennant right over here. Needs to break the pennant for it to be somewhat Shmexy to Mya. Needed to break the double top as well. So we had that going on right there. EKSO. EKSO needs to break the pennant and resistance for it to be so much Mexi to Mya. Also needs to break that VWAP as well. So we got that going on right there. EKSO, EKSO, AEHL. How's AEHL doing? AEHL peak broke above the VWAP, needs to remain above the VWAP, needs to hold above the VWAP right there. EKSO needs to hold above the VWAP for it to be somewhat Mexi to Mya. Yes, sir, right there. DRMA, all right. Dermata Therapeutics shares are trading higher after Chairman Gerald Prohl reportedly purchased 612,745 shares at an average price of $2.04 per share. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. All right. DRMA needs to break that VWAP, though. DRMA still needs to break the pennant and the VWAP for it to be somewhat Shmexy to Mya. There we go. Right there. PCLA. Trying to curl off that pennant right there. All right. PCLA needs to, actually, curling off the pennant needs to break the VWAP. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so we got that going on right there. Somebody requested SOAR. SOAR. Let's see how it's doing. Well, SOAR seems to have soared a little bit over here and then went back down and formed a bit of a descending wedge right here. Actually, I'd go so far as to say, yep, descending wedge right here. So SOAR has formed a bit of a descending wedge right now. Needs to break above the VWAP for it to be somewhat Mexi to Mya. SOAR needs to break the descending wedge and the VWAPA for it to be so much maxi to me. Bop right there. All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we got going on so far. That is what we got going on. Let's take a look at FONR. FONR. How's FONR doing? Hold on. There we go. Very, very choppy. FONR shares are trading higher after the company confirmed its take private deal. So, FONR consolidating along the VWAPA right now. FONR consolidating along the VWAPA. FONR has that going on right there. DRMA how's DRMA doing? Needs to still break that pennant right there. All right. Still needs to break the pennant. All right. Boom. Right there. All right. AMIX. All right. AMIX curling. Still curling off of that descending wedge right there. AMIX still curling off the descending wedge. So you got that going on right there. AMIX still curling off the descending wedge. Boom. Right there. All right. EKSO. All right. Curling off the pennant right now. EKSO. Look at that. Moving its way on up. 51% moving. EKSO. Curling above the pennant and the VWAPA. Right now, currently up 52%. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on right there. Yes, sir. All right. Yes, sir. All right. And of course, let's take a look at SIDU. SIDU. All right, let's take a look. SIDU curled its way on up above and then kind of formed a bit of a pennant with all the consolidation that it did. So SIDU, as of now, SIDU needs to hold above the VWAPA and break the pennant for it to be somewhat maxi to mia. Yes, sir. All right. Let's take a look at AMIX. Let's take a look here. AMIX curling its way on up right now, curling off the descending wedge. We got that going on. AMIX curling off the descending wedge. There we go. Boom, right there. All right. FLYE needs to break the downtrend right there still. FLYE still needs to break the downtrend for it to be somewhat maxi to me. Can it curl? Let's see. Can it curl? We'll see. DRMA. Let's see what happens here with this stunk. Let's see here. Right, currently still needs to break that pennant, still needs to break that VWAP. Dermata Therapeutics shares are trading higher after Chairman Gerald Pearl reportedly purchased 612,745 shares at an average price of $2.04 per share. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. So DRMA still needs to break that pennant. DRMA still needs to break that pennant. There we go. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, by the way, let's get a share party going. Let's get the 1400, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, also, Be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comments section. So be sure to check that out, because we pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cash, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, when you click onto that link and you get the 4-day trial, you get access to this beautiful scanner right over here with the hyperlinks that give you all the information on a certain stock. You get access to this beautiful newsroom with the synopsis of the articles. You get access to a hyperlink. You can read the entire article and news, and you also get a hyperlink for the tickers that are affiliated with the stock, with the article that has the news in it. And to top it off, you get access to the stock ticker tape, which shows all the stocks that we are currently keeping an eye on. And to top it off, ladies and gentlemen, you also get access to our educational and indelible community, ladies and gentlemen. They are amazing. They're awesome. They are utterly incredible. And of course, they like to build each other up, support each other, and just, yeah, that's it. Just build each other up and support each other, pretty much. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you get access to the Wealth Builders package, you get all that plus exclusive Wealth Builders content, exclusive Wealth Builders educational content, and to top it off, exclusive content for the, exclusive access to Coach Nick Money and myself, exclusive behind the scenes footage, exclusive access to the scripts, and also to top it off, you get access to our 500 plus video course, ladies and gentlemen. Our educational course, which is 500 plus videos, in depth, very much so in depth. So, yeah, it's a very much so in depth course, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. So, let's get a share party going. Let's get the 1500. 1500, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look over here. Let's take a look at AMIX again. Let's take a look at AMIX again. AMIX seems to be moving its way on up right now. AMIX currently up 66%. Hit a high of 66%. All right. AMIX. AMIX currently hit a high of 66% right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. All right, so we got support at the 81-cent mark, resistance at 90 cents. Needs to break above 90 cents for it to really be somewhat schmexy to me. Yes, sir. All right. Getting a stretch here. Ooh. Ooh. All right, that was good. Yeah. All right. Ooh. All right. There we are. That was a good stretch. Got the whole back cricket. There we go. It cricked, all that good stuff right there. So let's see what we got going on here. Right now, AMIX currently up 66%, 66%, and slowly climbing its way on up right now. Needs to break above that 90 cent mark for it to really be so schmexy to me. Yes, sir. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see about EKSO. EKSO. All right. EKSO up 53% and climbing slowly. EKSO up 53% and climbing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. EKSO still up 53% and climbing. All right. All right. ONTF. And on 24 shares are trading higher, and after the company announced it will be acquired by Cvent, so it is an acquisition play as of now for ONTF. ONTF float is 26 million, volume is 423,000, so it is moving. It shot up on some low volume right there and is an acquisition play. So ONTF acquisition play needs to break the pennant for it to be so much maxi to me. All right. FONR. Let's see how FONR is holding up. FONR consolidated along the VWAP. FONR shares are trading higher after the company announced its take private deal. So FONR still consolidated along the VWAP. Still consolidated along the VWAP. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. All right. FLYE. Still needs to break that descending wedge right there. Still needs to break that downtrend. FLYE still needing to break the downtrend right there. Boom. All right. What else is there? A mix. Let's see. Needs to remain friends with the trend right there. A mix needs to remain friends with the trend and break the high of day. There we go. A mix. Let's see what happens here. Let's take a look at AEHL. AEHL. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1700. 1700, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. All right. So, as of now, let's take a look at AEHL. AEHL. All right. Needs to keep itself above the VWAP and break the pennant. AEHL needs to stay above the VWAP and break through the pennant. Boom, right there. Yes, sir. All right. Somebody requested FJET, FJET. FJET, as of now, very choppy, low volume, falling below the VWAP right now. Needs a lot of volume. FJET, very choppy with low volume. Very choppy with low volume. Not looking schmexy. Meh. Let's take a look at AMIX again. AMIX. AMIX needs to still break above that pennant. Or excuse me, needs to still stay above that trend line there. AMIX needs to stay above the trend line right there. Let's see here. EKSO. Let's see how EKSO is holding up. EKSO. Still on that uptrend right there. Still on the uptrend off that pennant. Still on the uptrend off the pennant. There we go. All right. Give me 1 second. 1 second. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. All right. Okay. Somebody requested CIFR. CIFR. Let's take a look at CIFR. CIFR. All right. CIFR. Very choppy. Very choppy. Very low volume. Not looking schmexy at all. Is above the VWAP, but very, very choppy and sporadic. CIFR. Very choppy and sporadic. Not schmexy. Not schmexy at all. CIFR. All right. All right. Let's take a look at SIDU. CDU. CDU. SIDU. CDU. CDU. Let's see. CDU breaking above the pennant right now. All right. Breaking above that pennant right there. And curling its way on up right there. Broke the pennant and is curling. SIDU broke the pennant and is curling. There we go. That's what we got going on right there. All right. AMIX, AMIX. All right. Needs to break this little descending wedge right here. Just trying to break that little descending wedge right there. AMIX, AMIX. Trying to break the descending wedge. All right. All right. Let's see here. What other stonks do we have? EKSO, EKSO. All right. Still moving its way around. Still moving its way. All right. All right. So, that's what we got going on right there. EKSO doing its thing. Let's see how AMIX is doing. AMIX curling up above that little descending wedge right there. AMIX. All right. AMIX. AMIX. All right. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. All right. Okay. So, got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Let's take a look at another stonk here. Let's see. AMIX, by the way, is moving its way on up 63%, testing the resistance, testing the high of day. AMIX testing the high of day. There we go. All right. AMIX curling up, testing that high a day, up 65% right now. 65%. There we go. All right. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. All right. So, AMIX testing the high of day. All right. EKSO. All right. EKSO. EKSO curling above the VWAPA and on the uptrend. Yes. All right. We got 9 minutes till the bell. The bell. It deafens me. Got 9 minutes till the bell. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me get some water in me real quick. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 2,000. 2,000, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 2,000, ladies and gents. In the meantime, let me get some water in me. I'm just a little thirsty, you know what I mean? So I'll be right back right there. Give me a second. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. I'm back. All right. So let's see here. Let's see about CETX. CETX. Went back down a little bit. CETX fell below the VWAP. Needs to break the descending wedge in the VWAP right there. Needs to break the descending wedge and the VWAPA for it to be somewhat schmexy to me on. Needs to break that descending wedge and VWAP. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Has some unconfirmed Q4 earnings due in 14 days on January 13th after the market close. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on for CETX. All right, let's take a look at DRMA. DRMA. All right. DRMA needs to break above that VWAP and pennant still. DRMA needs to break the consolidation VWAP and the pennant. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Let's see what else we got here. EKSO. Still on the uptrend right now. Still on the uptrend and climbing. Still on the uptrend and climbing. Still on the uptrend and climbing. There we go. All right. AEHL. AEHL. Broke above the pennant just now. AEHL broke above the pennant right there. All right, CETX needs to break that descending wedge, and it looks like it is. It is trying to break that descending wedge right now. CETX breaking the descending wedge. Breaking the descending wedge. All right. All right, breaking the descending wedge right there. CETX. FONR. FONR. Still consolidated. FONR. FONR still consolidated. FONR still consolidated. There we go. All right, let's take a look over here. DRMA. DRMA. Trying to peak above that pennant right now. Trying to peak the pennant right now. DRMA. Trying to peak above the pennant. There we go. That's what we got. Let's take a look at another stonk here. All right. PCLA, actually, PCLA needs to break the VWAPA, needs to break that VWAPA. Trying to break that VWAP at least. Yeah, actually still needs to break that VWAP. It broke the pennant, but needs to break the VWAP. Still needs to break the VWAP. All right. And let's see what else we got here. What else we got? AMIX. Let's see how AMIX is doing. Is AMIX still trying to do that thing? It's still there. It's still doing its thing right now, but it really needs to break that high a day. That's what it really needs to do. Autonomics medical shares are trading higher after the European Patent Office granted the company a patent number, the 133 patent titled Control and Precise Treatment of Cardiac Tissues. So they got that going on right there. And needs to break above this descending wedge. Still, it keeps on peaking above it. AMIX keeps on trying to peak above it right now, but you know, it's just sitting there doing its thing. AMIX keeps peaking above the descending wedge. Boom. Needs to break that descending wedge right there. DBL Moms, can you hand me my glasses, please? Thank you. Thank you. Appreciation.
2 minutes to the bell.
2 minutes to the bell. The bell. Actually, 3 minutes. Oh, 2 minutes. Yes. The bell. The bell. It deafens me. All right. Let's take a look at AEHL. AEHL. Curling off the pennant right now. AEHL. Broke the VWAP and is curling off the pennant just a little bit. AEHL. Broke the VWAPA and is curling above the pennant as of now. Boom. Right there. So you got that going on. CETX. CETX needs to break that VWAP. Needs to break the VWAPA. FLYE. Wappa wappa wappa. Like Burger, call it Burger King because it needs to break that VWAPA. Yeah. Ha ha ha. Yeesh. FLYE trying to peak above that downtrend. FLYE trying to peak above the downtrend. That's some good stuff right there. All right. FONR. Still consolidated. FONR. Still on the consolidation. Yes. All right. The bell. The bell. It made a ringy dingy. It made a wee woo. Yes. Yes. All right. All right. Yeah. Let's take a look at the EKSO.
AMIX moving.
AMIX moving. AMIX. EKSO climbing. AMIX moving. AMIX, come on, baby. Come on now. AMIX. No. Come on now. AMIX needs to break the pennant. Above the pennant, not below the pennant, you dimwit. All right. AMIX needs to hold above the support line. Needs to hold above the support line for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Otherwise, it's just meh, meh. All right. Let's take a look at CETX in the meantime. CETX curling up right now. CETX curling off the descending wedge. CETX curling off the descending wedge. Yeesh. All right. Alex says PFSA moving. All right, let's take a look at PFSA. PFSA moving. Yes, sir. It is curling. It is curling its way on up right now. PFSA shot up over here, made a bit of a pennant over here, and then just curled off that pennant right over here. Bop right there. PFSA up 131%. Up 131% right there. Yes, sir. PFSA. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. PFSA up 131% right there. And climbing. Curling off the pennant. Up 131%. Moving. Boom. Right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Alex says he's in at 12 at 0.1240. All right, Alex. There we go. It's up 15 cents right now. Up 15 cents right now. So hopefully you're making your money and you're making your profits and you're making your money and you're making your profits. You know what I mean? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Cause we got mind on your money and your money on your mind. You know what I mean? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. EKSO. EKSO. Can it curl? Need to see if it curls, but otherwise, had that nice uptrend, then went back down. AMIX. Can it curl? ZCMD, let's see how ZCMD is doing. ZCMD, Zhongchao Inc., very low volume, very choppy. Alex says, yes, sir, on my Roth account, already hit daily goal. There you go, buddy. There you go. There you go. Make your money. You make your money. Yes, sir. Make your money. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. ZCMD is a China stock. I could tell already by looking at it. Very low volume. ZCMD, very low volume. Needs to remain on uptrend because it is on a bit of an uptrend, but it is very low volume, ladies and gentlemen. Very low volume. CETX moving. CETX shot up like a rocket just now. Price spike galore. Had a bit of resistance though at the 328 mark over here. All right. CETX. CETX showing resistance needs to break it and remain friends with the trend. Yes, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Okie dokie. Ooh. All right. Stretching. Oh. There we go. There we are. Yes, sir. Okie doke. There we go. All right. Whew. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, what you guys doing? How you guys doing? How's everybody doing, ladies and gents? I'm doing beautiful right now. I'm doing beautiful. Beautiful. Yes, sir. All right. Let's see what else we got here. What else we got? Let's see here. All right. Let's take a look at ASST. ASST, crowd favorite. Very choppy, very low volume. ASST needs to break the barcoding, low volume. Not schmexy there. All right. Alex says AEHL moving. Let's see how AEHL is doing. Oh my. AEHL up 78%. Mio mio. Oh my. Ho ho. 82%. 84%. Yes, sir. 85%. 87% right there. Oh my. AEHL 90% now. Oh my, 92% now. Yes, sir. 95% now. 98% now. 98%. Come on now. Come on. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Yes. Give it to me. Yes. Give it. Give it. Give it. Give. Hey. Curl back up. There you go. Hey. Curl. There you go. Hey. What I tell, boy? You just gonna tease me? You just gonna tease me like that? You gonna do me like that? You're only gonna do it like that? 95%, 95%, 107%. Yes, sir. Bagger. Yes. AEHL 105%. Why the pen? 107%. Get pen don't work. Where my pen? Where my pen's at? My pen. Give me. Yes. Pineapple pen. 107%. 107% right there. AEHL. AEHL. New bagger broke the high of day. We actually called this one early in the morning. Alex says, let's go. Took off as soon as I clicked on it, man. You know what? That's the Alex effect, bro. That's the Alex effect. Bro got the Alex effect. He got the magic touch. He got the magic touch. You know what I mean? You got the magic touch, brother. Yes, sir. Bro stepped in the building. All of a sudden, the stock started running right there.
OCG moving.
Oh my!
Moving.
Yeesh.
Moving.
Ooh, moving.
Bada bingo.
OCG moving its way on up right now. Oh my! Had a bit of an A to B, B to C, C to D, yes sir, and then had a little bit of a descending wedge right there. You know what I mean? So yesh, OCG needs to break the descending wedge for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Had an ABCD pattern. There we go. There we go. All right. Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, folks. Sharing is caring. And of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different. And the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loots, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you want access to our private Discord for the first 4 days for our real-time alerts and scanners, be sure to check out the link in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out, because we pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what we got going on. That is what we got going on. Of course, ladies and gents, be sure to check us out on our YouTube at Coaching Money. Where we do lots of live streaming, lots of videos, lots of stock reviews, lots of shorts, lots of stock analysis, etc. You can find us on our X.com, aka Twitter, at Coaching Money. You can find us there. We do lots of live streaming there, as well as stock review and analysis. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Coaching Money. You can find us there. You know, we're just doing our thing. You can find us on Twitch at Coaching Money, where we're doing lots of live streams and stuff and like that. And yeah, you can find us on TikTok, Tiki Taki, aka the Tac Tac. Yeah, you can find us there as well at DBL Nicks. At DBL NICKS, and the screen name is Coach Nick Money. Yes, sir. So that's pretty much it for me. Much love. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned for 1:30 p.m. when Coach Nick Money does the Power Plays, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's right, the Power Plays. Basically a show where Coach takes a look just before Power Hour at the stocks, gives his honest stock analysis, and then basically does the play portion of the show, which is he puts them on high heat and lets them simmer, right? While he plays the Fortnite and gets a dub for the community. Yes, sir. So, yeah, that's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to stay tuned for that. Be sure to stay tuned for more. All right, because there's going to be a lot more going up there. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's Double Nicks. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day. I hope all your dreams and aspirations come true. I'll see you at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Power Plays.